Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in the first video of my channel, I'm going to talk about GST registration and what is the procedure. Many people have already know about what is GST, and GST came into existence very recently in our country, that is in the year 2017. So these details we will see later in our next videos. But today, particularly in this video, I'm going to more concentrate on the registration process. And this topic is particularly very important for the students who are studying about the taxation system and who are uh, preparing for taxation role or who want to get into taxation department. For them, it will be very useful to know. And the people who want to get registered under GST, like who want to do a business, so they should also know about this particular topic, like how to register and what are the documents needed for the registration. All these topics will cover in this particular video. So no late, I'll be showing you the PPT presentation where you people can get overall idea about this GST procedure, and that will be very helpful. As I've already mentioned that this video is not only helpful to the people who want to study about taxation, like students I mentioned, but also to the people who are doing the business. So for them also little clarity they will be getting who want to start the business newly or who are into the business, but still they have a doubts regarding GST, like what is the procedure or where they are lacking some knowledge about this. Maybe for them also they'll get a little clarity by looking at this video. So as I have mentioned, I'm going to talk about the procedure and levy under the GST. So moving on to the next slide, what are the topics I'm going to cover particularly in this unit or in this chapter, I can say. That is first registration under GST, compulsory registration, deemed registration, exempted goods and services, and rates of GST. So all these topics will be covered under one chapter, that is procedure and levy under GST. In this particular video today, I'm going to only concentrate on the registration under GST. As I've mentioned, registration process, how the registration will go on, who has to get registered, what is the procedure, and who are the people eligible to get registered. All this we are going to cover in this topic. So moving on, we'll be seeing registration under GST. As I've mentioned, GST has an act, and under this act only, we are going to have the registration process. And to be legally, first of all, why we need a registration? GST has come into existence, all we know about it. What is this registration rule? Every time we listen this registration, if you want to own any house, you have to get registered. So all this kind of, in our day-to-day lifetimes also, we will listen this word registration very often. Why this registration? First important point what we have to understand here is registration is compulsory, because to make sure that your business is legal and you are doing with the permission of the government, and that is how your business is going to continue. And first of all, to make sure that your business is legal. Okay, so to follow that rules and regulations according to our law, we are going to have this procedure for registration under GST Act. So first we are going to know about GST registration is compulsory for whom? Like whoever do the business, everyone has to get registered? Not required. That is what I have mentioned in the first point. The GST Act provides that every supplier of goods or services or both. So any person who is doing the business for goods or services who has an aggregate turnover of more than 40 lakhs in a year. So in one financial year, if their turnover is more than 40 lakhs rupees, they have to obtain for GST registration. So what it means indirectly or directly, I can say that if your turnover is less than 40 lakhs rupees, you no need to get registered under GST Act. So this is the important point we have to understand. Whoever is doing the business, whoever is being a part of goods or services, they have to know that if their turnover is more than 40 lakhs, then only the compulsion comes that they have to get registered under GST Act. If not, not required. But in this also one point is there, interesting point, that is some states have got the exemption, not completely. But what is that exemption? However, the threshold limit is 10 lakhs if you have business in the northeastern states, that is Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. If your business, if you belong to any of these states, northeastern states, I mean, and you are doing the business in those states, then your turnover should not exceed 10 lakhs rupees. I mean, the limit is 10 lakhs rupees. If your income is 10 lakhs rupees, then you have to get registered under GST. If not, not required. So that is the major difference between the other states and the northeastern states. This is the rule we have to remember. And whoever does the business in these states, or if you're going and doing the business in that particular northeastern state, example, then the 10 lakhs rupees is the limit. Whereas for other states, it's 40 lakhs rupees. So it is a major important point what we have to understand here. Coming to the next point, GST registration is a process by which a taxpayer gets himself registered under GST. So as I mentioned, registration is compulsory. And compulsory registration also topic I have told you when I was talking about what are the topics we are going to cover in this chapter. So in that compulsory registration, so registration is compulsory because to make sure that which business person belongs to which category, whether their turnover is more than 40 lakhs, if it is a normal other than the northeastern states, if not you are belonging to northeastern states, what is the turnover? So depending on your turnover, you are getting categorized. Any person who is doing a business, a normal business, a small, very small business who is doing and whose income will be very less, he no need to get registered, not required. His business can continue with a normal incorporation. But coming to the business whose turnover is that much, they have to compulsorily get registered under GST Act. Once a business is successfully registered, a unique registration number is assigned, which is known as GSTIN, which is nothing but Goods and Service Tax Identification Number. In short, we are calling it as GSTIN. So this number will be given to the people, to the person who is doing the business and whose turnover, what conditions have fulfilled. Like the two conditions what I told in the first 2 points, if they are fulfilled and they got registered under GST, they are going to get this GSTIN. So that is the 15-digit number assigned by the central government. So it's not from the state government, but from the central government. Moving on, GST registration. If you are operating from more than one state, please remember and understand this point. If you are operating from more than one state, then you will have to take separate registration for each state you are opting from. It's very clear, but again, to explain or to elaborate in a very easy manner, if you are doing a business in more than one state, so you have to get registered in, suppose I'm doing the business in 2 states, I have to get registered in 2 states separately. I can't tell that I'm doing there, but I'm getting registered in this state. You can't tell. And in this one scenario again, which states you are belonging to. If you are doing a business in one state and one is northeastern state, again you have to check whether you are fulfilling the condition which is given under GST Act. What is your turnover? So that way you have to see and get registered. But registration is compulsory. If you're doing business in different states, you have to register differently. I mean, from different state, you have to get registered separately. That is the, again, most important point where people may not remember, or sometimes they may not, what I can say, they will feel like, why required? Like, what is the reason? I'm doing already a business here, no, why should I? Because at state to state, you are going to see a difference there. That is the important point we have to remember. If you are doing a business from different states, definitely have to get registered in different states separately. That is the most important point again to remember under GST registration. Which businesses should need mandatory registration? Already I have said registration is compulsory because your business is legal and you are following the rules and regulations. You got the incorporation certificate for your business. Everything is fine and you're getting registered. But again, why the question is coming, which business should need mandatory registration? Because we need to know few conditions are there or few situations are there where people think that we don't need to get registered. What is the point? If I belong to some other country, I'm not a non-resident taxable person, like you can see the second point on the screen, non-resident taxable person. I'm a non-resident person. No? Why should I get registered? But you have to see the word taxable person there. That point is making you understand more importantly that you are a taxable person. You might be a non-resident, but you are doing a business in India, in a particular state, whatever state it is, but you are doing a business in India. You are a non-resident. but you are doing a business in India, you are a taxable person. And if in that scenario also you need to get registered under GST when your turnover is exceeding 40 lakhs rupees in the case of normal states. If it is related to the northeastern states I have mentioned, it is 10 lakhs rupees limit. That is very important to understand about non-resident taxable individual. What I want to tell more probably more in a clarity manner that if you are belonging to any other country also, but if you are doing a business in the India, you will be a taxable person for sure, and you need to get registered. Now we'll see the first point. As I've jumped to the second point, let's see the first point: casual taxable individual. Now, casual, the word casual is telling that it's very casual, no? But the casuality is for whom? It's for occasional or seasonal businesses needed to register their business under GST for this category. Like seasonal business, who do the business in a seasonal manner, their business will not have a continuation. For one particular season, they are going to do a business. After that, they are going to disappear. I mean, they're going to shut down their business again. Next year, in that same season, they are going to do it. In that scenario, they have to definitely get registered. It's not that I'm doing a seasonal business. What is the need of getting registered? You can't be like that, because the rule is there that occasional or seasonal businesses need to get registered. So the tenure for registration, when I'm talking about this casual taxable person, you need to remember one more point: the tenure. What is the tenure of a registration for this? It is a 3 months time will be given. After this 3 months, however, business can apply for the renewals or the extension. Usually our any kind of application, normally our license, for everything, a renewal process will be there, right? You have to get renewal, your insurance policy, all this kind of renewal procedure we know. So even in the GST also, once you registered, the tenure for the registration is 3 months period. So after 3 months, anyways, you have to get renewal. So for the seasonal, as I mentioned, casual taxable person who are doing a seasonal business or occasional business, no, for those people, after the tenure of this 3 months, also they can renewal it again. When they are starting their business in that particular season, they can renew the business, I mean renew the registration, and they can continue the business. So that is a point we have to understand under the casual taxable person. Next comes interstate supplier of goods and services. So that is also a very important point where we have to understand interstate. When you are supplying the goods, you may think I'm only doing the supply, no, why I have to get registered? Whatever it is, when you are supplying goods and services also, that interstate supply who are doing, those people are also responsible to get registered under GST. It's compulsory for them also to get registered. They can't be like, I think so, not required. Why to get into this? Because I'm doing this only supply. But if you are interstate supplier of goods and services, definitely you need to be a part of it and you need to get registered. So that is again a important point to be understood here. Lastly, supplier of goods through an e-commerce portal. Now, e-commerce is very famous as people are very much into this electronic process now, who want to do online shopping, online, everything is online now. Everybody's enjoying online process because it saves their time not to go somewhere and do something. In that scenario also, people who are doing this e-commerce supplying of the goods, like you're supplying the goods through online for the online services, for them also registration is mandatory. Because all these four categories what I have explained just now, many people have a confusion over these 4 points. Like first point, casual taxable person, I'm doing occasionally business, why I need to get registered is the first question can come. Second, I'm a non-resident, why should I get registered? Thirdly, interstate, when I'm only supplying the goods and services supply I'm doing, why I need to get registered, that question can come. And lastly, if I'm doing for an online business, I'm supplying of the goods, why I need to get registered? But you need to get registered in whatever scenario. When you're dealing with goods and services, you have to get registered. Only conditions you have to fulfill is regarding your turnover. And if that is fulfilled, you have to get registered, and it's mandatory. Documents. Next question comes, what documents? Because every time, whatever you are doing, for that there is a proof. Proof is the documentation. That is what you are going to keep. What are your details, your personal details? What is your identification? How you are identified as a business person? All that is needed when you are getting registered under GST. And that documents what we require is going to be on the screen. That is, what documents required for GST registration? This is a common question. First one, PAN of the applicant. PAN, that is permanent account number. Many people know about this, and this is a very important document because your PAN is going to be your detail about your financial status. So that is the first thing, a first document needed. All the details about your financial status is going to be a part of this PAN. So permanent account number of the applicant is very much needed as the first document. If you don't have, you need to apply for it. You need to get that as soon as possible. You can't be like, I don't have a PAN. Everybody is compulsion to have this PAN card facility right now. And next, copy of Aadhaar card, which everyone knows Aadhaar card is like Aadhaar for everyone. For everything you want to apply for, your Aadhaar card is compulsory. Next, proof of business registration or incorporation certificate. This is an underlying point because I'm starting a business. But what is the proof that I'm starting a business? This is the proof. Business registration or incorporation certificate you are going to get. And that is the proof that yes, you are into a business field and you are starting a business. Next, identity and address proof of the directors with a photograph, where you stay, because which place you belong to. As I've mentioned in the first slide when we're discussing, like when you are doing a business in different states, you need to get registered in different states separately, as I've mentioned. In that scenario, if you are belonging to one particular state, suppose I belong to Telangana state, but I'm doing a business in another state, how they can know that I belong to another state, but I'm doing business in another state? Through this, your identity and your address proof, where it can your permanent address proof. Address proof means permanent address, and that will reveal where are you from. So that is the important document again here to submit. Bank account statement, details about your financial status, authorization letter, digital signature. So authorization letter you are going to get for your business, and lastly digital signature. And why it is digital? Because it's online. It's going to be online everything, because no need to go somewhere and get registered. Even GST registration can be done online. About GST registration process through online, how you have to fill all that, I'm going to discuss in another video where you can see on screen. I'm going to show you people how you are going to go to the website, how you're going to fill the details, and how you're going to get registered. So that we will be seeing in the next video. Types of GST registration. This is an interesting point. Like the GST registration is there, but what are the types are there in that? Already we got understood that who have to get registered compulsory, like mandatory registration is for which businesses we discussed. Now here about the people. Already as a business, what businesses are compulsion is there for them to register when we understood. It is very easy to understand this point now. First is normal taxpayers, as most business in India fall under this category because normal taxpayers we are. So business, already back to the first slide which I discussed, first point, depending on your turnover. If your turnover is 40 lakhs rupees exceeding in a financial year, then you are required to register as a normal taxable person. Here I'm not using the word casual because casual is dealing with the occasional or the seasonal business. But this is a normal taxpayer whose turnover is only we are considering. Casual taxable individual. Now next point comes about the casual taxable individual who is doing the business seasonally or occasionally. Third one, non-resident taxable individual. When I'm talking about the business that I'm doing in another state, even the non-resident taxable individual, that is individual who resides outside India but occasionally supply goods. Here again you have to understand not only about doing the business but also about the supply of goods and services. As agents or as a principal or in any another capacity, to Indian residents are liable to file for registration under this category. So here important and interesting point you have to remember here is you are doing a business in India and getting registered is in the slide which we have seen about the businesses which are mandatory to get registered. But under the types of GST registration, we are understanding that you are being in another country, but you are supplying goods or services to the Indian residents who are doing a business here, but you are supplying them from other country, then also you need to get registered. You can be doing in a capacity of a principal or an agent or in any other capacity, supplying the goods to the Indian resident here, then also you need to file a registration. File for the registration under this category. That is also an important point to be remembered. So don't get confused which business is getting compulsion to register, and what we are talking about, this non-resident taxable individual. That is about the business, this is about the individual. Both are different here, but clearly to be understood, see the heading here, types of GST registration I'm talking about. There I was talking about which businesses, like I can show you once again to be more clear. Which businesses should need mandatory registration is the point we discussed in the before slide. And now we are discussing about the types of GST registration. So I hope I'm clear with this little topic which I covered about the registration of GST, like who has to get registered, which business has to get registered, and for whom it is mandatory, what are the types and what are the documents needed to submit. So this is the basic question which comes for the examination for the students' point of view, and for the people who want to start up a business will get a little clarity about or little idea about this GST procedure about the registration. Thank you for watching this video. If you understood and if you want to see more videos and know about different topics under this GST, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.